Are there any rules for students at your school?
I think my school time was longer, but back then when I was a student, there were lots of rules and regulations. For example, like we have to dress uniforms all the time whenever we were at school because it was very strict with the rules, so we all had to follow it. And I think that partly was because the school doesn't want to distinguish between among people, and there were no discrimination among students. So I think that was useful somehow.
Do you prefer to have more or fewer rules at school?
As a free guy, I usually prefer no rules at all because sometimes it feels a little bit stuck and quite harsh. For example, like there were some rules with the hairstyle of boys when I was in school. If it was too short or too long, it would be punished. There were penalties for those who did not obey the laws. So I think it was not that severe, as long as it doesn't reflect something bad or damage the image of the school. I think that's totally fine.
Do you think students would benefit more from more rules?
I think it depends. To some certain extent, the rules could be useful for students because it reinforces the discipline among themselves, and later on they will do things followed some set of rules. For example, like my students, they always follow my rules, which were designed to be very effective in their learnings and to help them focus on their study. And I think rules are always useful if we use them wisely.
Have you ever had a really strict teacher?
I think yes, I did, and I guess all the students do, because there were always stricter teachers among those who teaches us, right? And for example, I remember there was my high school head teacher, and she was very strict, very harsh, and she was like she made everything difficult for us, like challenging us to overcome ourselves. Later on, I felt very grateful to have such a very enthusiastic teacher. But back then, at that time, I thought it was so hard to study whenever it came to her lessons.
How did the strict rules affect your school experience?
I think I was not affected that much because I was quite obeying the rules, even though I didn't like it. And I was like, as a kid, I was pretending that I was a good kid, but actually I did lots of stuff that my teachers and my parents didn't know. It was like I was innocently naughty, right? We could say that. For example, I usually play truants on some lessons that were taught by easy teachers, and I just let my friends help me with the absence, so nobody had any clue about that.
Why do you think some students resist rules more than others?
I think it totally depends on the characteristics of each student. Some of them are quite obedient, but some of them are, anti-regulations. So, for example, there were lots of students in my class when I was in high school that played truant, while the others were so good, so focusing on their study. And those who really concentrated in their lessons really got good grades, of course. And I think that's just the personal matter.
How can teachers balance discipline and freedom in the classroom?
It's quite tricky. I don't think that's easy, but teachers can always be flexible because you could not set the rule that just apply for everybody in class, right? There are good students, there are obedient, there are very naughty ones. So I think there should not be any cliche or any fixed sets of conducts in the class. Rather, it should be modified based on periods and each circumstances, so that it could, at the same time, encourage students to feel freer in the class, so they feel more comfortable. And on the other hand, they have to understand that things are controlled.
Why do you feel grateful for your strict teacher now?
Well, because I just realized that all the lessons that she taught me was somehow, yeah, mostly correct, and I could apply most of those in my life now. For example, I was taught to be resilient in whatever I was doing, even though it was boring. I could remember history that was so boring to me, and I many times I skipped classes, but my head teacher always forced me and told my parents to push me forward, to really focus on trying my best to study that subject, even though I'm still not good at history. I have never been, but I have to admit that that strategy really helped me to be consistent in whatever I'm chasing right now.